Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all in this truth from the well. Peace and salutation to the 144,000, and the rest of the 1/3, the large multitude. Unto you I say shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson of the Spirit. Now I'm entitled this one. When these people lose everything, they will be willing to take the motb, because right now majority of people are comfortable upon the planet Earth, but I wouldn't say the whole planet, but more specifically here in Babylon the Great, which is America. Because just yesterday you had Donald Trump sign the first crypto bill into law, which is leading to the establishment of the digital currency system that's going to segue the mass implementation of the motb. Because majority of people up on the planet Earth, they don't really know that this current system being ran by the US dollar, by the dollar bill, cash, is about to be done away with very soon. You got paper checks about to be done away with very soon. People will no longer be able to get physical paychecks. Now they're going to sign up. They're going to have to sign up for direct deposit. And what this is going to lead to is cash, physical currency being done away with, and a new currency, which is going to be digital, is going to be implemented. And we all know how this devil, the white man, Esau Edom, he loves to do everything through gradualism. But eventually, he's going to crash this system and offer a new way of participating in society, which is going to be that motb, the micro chip. And when he does crash the system through blackouts, hacking, so-called hacking by other countries, which really it's inside jobs. But when he tells the people, hey, you lost all that wealth, all that money in the stock market, and even people who have been stocking up on physical gold and silver, he's going to be like, that's no good. You could turn it in, but you could exchange it for taking this micro chip, this motb, and you'll be able to access those funds only if you take this micro chip. And a lot of people are going to be willing to take that motb, because ultimately majority of these people on the planet Earth, but mainly chiefly here in America, Babylon the Great, these people in America have got accustomed to having everything in convenience, from fast food. You could have anything at the click of a button on your phone. So people are very accustomed to having everything now, pretty much in that spirit of Esau Edom, that instant gratification. That's why even a lot of our people, of 2/3, they're going to be willing to take that motb, because this is all they know. They have that mindset that America is as good as it gets. But us are the hopeful elect. We know that we got something better coming, that America isn't the end all be all like majority of people on the planet Earth think. That America, Babylon the Great, the so-called American dream, you go to college, you get a job, you get the white picket fence, that's as good as it gets. But no, ultimately we know that we got something better coming, which is the kingdom of heaven that's going to be established up on the planet Earth. That's what we're looking forward to. We're not looking forward to America and Babylon the Great to continue on forever, because pretty soon the NWO, the one world system, will be established, and there will be no borders and no different countries. No, ultimately what this devil Esau Edom wants to do, he wants to do just like what Nimrod tried to do back in the day, the Tower of Babel, and have everybody under one system. This is what he's trying to do again. But ultimately he's going to fail because Yahweh Bashmiel Shai is going to throw that monkey wrench. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And ultimately it says rich and poor. So you see what the white man is doing right now. He's crashing the system. He's putting the squeeze on all these people. He's eliminating that so-called middle class, pretty much trying to do away with it, where it's going to get to the point where you're just going to have rich and poor. So right here it says rich and poor, which we're almost at that point where there's going to be no middle class because of inflation constantly rising, the price on these different necessities from rent, groceries, basic necessities that, you know, that we need to live, water, food. But yet this devil is he's raising the prices on these necessities to the point where people aren't able to afford them. That's why homelessness is at an all-time high. So it's going to get to the point where he's going to fully put that squeeze on these people where they're going to be begging for a solution, where it's going to be hyperinflation. People aren't going to be able to afford groceries and water and food, shelter. So this devil's going to offer that solution when he crashes this economy, when he crashes this system. He's going to be like, hey, I got this solution. Here's the savior. This is micro him, you know. And ultimately that word mark, you know, is very important to go into the words. 13 and verse 16. That word mark in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, it goes into charagma. You know, Strong's G5480, charagma. And it says outline of biblical usage, a stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. B, it says the mark branded upon horses, then carved sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images. It says right here, a scratch or itching stamp as a badge of servitude, or sculpture figure, a graven mark. And what's going to be that mark is going to be that microsehib, because that's going to be the charagma. You know, because you do have a lot of different marks in the New Testament, but this one is going into that stamp of servitude, which is going to be that microsehib, because you got a lot of these other Israelite camps claiming that the motb is spiritual, that is sin, but ultimately it says right here a stamp of servitude, go back to it. It says an imprinted mark. It says mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand. So what is Elon Musk doing right now with the Neuralink? He's putting microsehibs in people's heads to be able to do those miracles on the left-hand side, being able to allow people to walk and play ping pong without even moving a finger. You know, that's ultimately the left-hand miracles is going to lead a lot of people to be deceived and take that motb. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So when this devil crashes the system, you know, if you don't have that motb, that microsehib, that stamp of servitude, then you won't be able to partake in his society. You know, like in verse 15, you know, it says, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And ultimately, yeah, you know, you're going to have a lot of people in these detention centers that refuse to take it. You know, you're going to have some of the members of the elect as a test of faith, you know, to see if they're going to bow down to the devil. But ultimately, Yahweh Bashmiel Shai is going to keep his elect from taking that motb, even if it means losing your life, being a martyr for the testimony of Yahweh Shai. But also that word kill, it could also mean, being killed in a sense of not being able to partake in society, because when this devil makes that motb mandatory, we know we're going to have to walk away from society. We're not going to be able to partake in society no more. Work these jobs, go to the grocery store, pay our rent, whatever it may be. We're going to have to be pilgrims up on the planet Earth. We're going to have to fully trust in Yahweh Bashmi Shai and leave this system behind, because we know when he makes it mandatory that okay, it's time to walk away from all this. Yeah, and a lot of our people, when they lose all their so-called wealth, that they build up, on the stock market, 401k, pensions, when this devil takes that all away, when he wipes away their bank accounts, they're going to be crying out, to be restored all that so-called wealth that they've amounted over the years. And Esau Edom's going to be like, okay, I got the solution, and it's going to be this micro C-HIP. If you take it, you'll be able to access a portion of it. You'll get funds every month. You'll be able to get food and shelter. Because a lot of our people, the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, this is all they know is America, Babylon the Great. So when this devil takes that all away, they're going to be bugging out. They're going to cry out for a solution, and this devil is going to offer that solution, which is going to be the motb. This is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. Yeah, so even these people in the world that have been stocking up, on different precious metals, from silver, gold, gems, whatever it may be, in their mindset, they're privy to what the white man is doing with the whole cryptocurrency. They know that it's going to lead to a digital system. Some of them even know what the motb is, but their mindset is, okay, I'm going to trust in gold and silver. Yeah, it's good to have those, but that's only going to take you so far till it's going to get to the point where this devil's going to be like, no, those gold and silver is no good. You may be able to turn it in and exchange it for funds, but it's going to be funds in a digital system, which is going to be that motb. He's going to be like, okay, you hand that over, and here you can take this motb, and you'll be able to access those funds that you lost. But ultimately, that's not going to be able to deliver. Even if there's going to be a bartering system. Okay, you got this gold and silver, I got this pack of water, this pack of rice or canned beans. Even if you be able to maneuver through Jacob's trouble, martial law, World War III, you still got the missiles coming, and that's what a lot of people don't count on. Even if, they got this big ass bunker hidden in the mountains, like, okay, here in America, okay, I've gotten away from Jacob's trouble, martial law, but you still got the missiles coming. You still got the missiles over here that are going to utterly destroy America and cause that lake of fire. And that's what a lot of our people and these heathens aren't counting on. They think that, okay, I'm gonna live off the grid, completely away from society, but you still got those intercontinental ballistic missiles that are going to be shot over here to the shores of America, and that's what they don't know. So All that gold and silver, bunkers, canned goods, ammo, and guns, ultimately that's not going to be able to deliver them when those missiles hit over here in the soils of America. This is Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So ultimately that's going into the elect. The elect are not going to bow down to this devil, because Yahweh Shema Shai is going to put it upon the spirit of the elect to refuse to take that motb. Because it's going to come upon the whole world. And I'm going to go into that word world, because you do have a different worlds in the New Testament. In the Greek, you have cosmos, which is a harmonious arrangement. Then you got aeon, which is a time period. But right here in verse 10, Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10, you have oikoumene, which is literally the whole earth. Strong's G 36 and 25, the inhabited earth, the portion of the earth inhabited by the Greeks in this distinction from the lands of the barbarians. Says the Roman Empire, all the subjects of the empire. And what is this current system? This current beast that was revived is the whole Roman Empire. It says the whole inhabited earth, the world, the inhabitants of the earth, the universe, the world. So it's going to come up on a whole entire earth, the hour of temptation, where this devil's going to offer that solution, because it's going to get so bad that people are going to be crying out for a solution, and this devil's going to offer it, and ultimately the elect, Yahweh Shema Shai will have to put a spirit on the elect for them to not take it, because people are going to be bugging out because they haven't ate in days. The children haven't ate. It's gonna be so bad that there's gonna be people getting put to death, people starving, cannibalism, all these different pestilences and plagues that are gonna hit up on the planet Earth, and people are gonna be looking for that solution, which is gonna be the motb that's gonna come up on a whole entire planet. But the elect will not take it, because Yahweh Shema Shai has reserved them from the foundation of the earth to refuse to bow down to Esau, Edom, the white man. This is Romans 11 and verse 4. But what said the answer of Yahweh Shema Shai unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed a knee to the image of Baal. So 7,000 men, which is a complete number. There's the elect, the 1/3, started 144,000, which is all prophets, all men. And then you got the rest of the 1/3, the large multitude, the believers, friends, helps, families of the prophets, which aren't going to take the motb. Yahweh Shema Shai is going to put it up on his spirit. He's going to keep them. He's going to deliver them from all the different calamities. Some of them even might have to be martyrs, but ultimately Yahweh Shema Shai even put the spirit on them to not take it, to take that glorious, that martyrdom, which, ultimately the martyrs are going to be risen up first when Yahweh Shai comes back and cracks the skies, when he comes back with the heavenly host. But the rest of the nation of Israel, the 2/3, and even Jake, that know that they're Israelites, but, they're teaching false doctrine. They're not teaching that the motb is a micro-sehib. They're going to take the micro-sehib, because when Yahweh Shema Shai comes back, he's going to deliver those who were doing his will, who did what was commanded by Yahweh Shema Shai, to warn the flock, to properly teach what the motb is and what the repercussions, what the consequences is of taking it, which is going to be that second death, that micro-sehib, the second death by taking the micro-sehib, the lake of fire, which 2/3 and the rest of these heathens that are left here in America are going to have to partake in, ultimately taking the motb and for bowing the knee to the image of the beast, for taking the microchip, for trusting in this devil. That's what's going to happen. But the elect aren't going to take it. They're going to be delivered by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for refusing to bow down to this devil. But that's pretty much the point. Pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from them well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000, the rest of the 1/3, the large multitude. Unto you I say shalom.